New year, new economic update. Welcome to the Beyond Wealth Advisors January economic update. I'm John Kliewer, CEO and private wealth advisor, and joining me today is Scott Hocker. Happy New Year, Scott.
Happy New Year, John. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. It's great to be back together. Can't believe we're doing this for a new year. So we're coming off a really strong stretch in the markets. A lot of investors are asking the same question. What's going to work this coming year, and what changes might we be thinking about? So to kick off the new year, we're going to walk through 10 themes, not predictions, but some perspective. So let's start with the big picture, the economy. You know, the U.S. economy really keeps holding up strong. The question is, how is it doing this? So Scott, unpack that for us a little bit.
Thanks, John. That's been the surprise. Despite higher rates and global uncertainty, growth has stayed positive. Not explosive, but resilient. Consumers are still spending. Businesses are still investing, especially around productivity and technology.
Yeah, I love that word resilient. I think the economy definitely has been resilient. So that brings us to the Fed. You know, they always seem to be part of the story, and it won't be any different in 2026. However, it's going to be more about balance. We know there's going to be a leadership transition, but the bigger issue is, can they maintain independence?
John, the Fed is certainly going to play a role. The early expectation is one rate cut, but not as a panic response. More cuts would signal stress, and that's not what the data suggests today. That leads us to our third theme, volatility.
Well, we've talked about that a lot in the past, haven't we? Well, in spite of all the noise in the media, the markets have actually been fairly calm. Now, historically, that doesn't last. But remember, volatility isn't a flaw. It's really not even a bad thing. It's a reality, and it creates opportunity. So our portfolios are built to take advantage of that volatility before it shows up. And this is where bonds re-enter the conversation. Scott, unpack our fourth theme, fixed income.
For the first time in years, John, bonds are doing what they're supposed to do. Income, stability, not chasing price appreciation, but providing ballast when equities wobble. Kind of what they're designed to do, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Scott. It's kind of refreshing, actually. Yeah. So let's flip over to equities, our fifth theme. U.S. stocks have been on an incredible run, and the market's identity has shifted a little bit. Returns are maybe less focused on earnings and more on valuation expansion. That points to more moderate returns, but still positive over time. So that brings us to our sixth theme, artificial intelligence.
That's right. AI remains a dominant force. But the story is evolving, John. The early winners were obvious. Now the benefits spread to industrials, to consumer businesses and companies, improving efficiency and productivity. This is the real world of AI.
Right, it's coming and coming fast for sure. And as I say, that's kind of where the rubber meets the road. So now on our seventh theme, we're going to look at some opportunities that aren't grabbing headlines. First, consumer discretionary. You know, there's still meaningful consumer momentum. The consumer just keeps spending money. Healthcare is another. The valuations already reflect worst case scenarios. So when those expectations are low, positive surprises are really around the corner. But maybe not so hidden is energy.
Energy is changing fast, John. And just about the time we thought it's not just about oil, we get a potential major shift in oil production. That aside, the 2026 story is still about electricity, data centers, defense, infrastructure, impacts of AI, and many of the beneficiaries are industrial companies, the picks and shovels behind the electrification.
You said that well. So our ninth theme, let's go global. And the U.S. remains very strong, but international exposure still really matters. It was incredibly important last year, especially in the emerging markets. India stands out with strong growth, favorable demographics, and long-term capital investment trends. And then last but not least, our final theme, asset allocation.
Asset allocation is what ties all this together. Not reacting, not guessing, but building portfolios designed to weather uncertainty and stay aligned with long-term goals.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Scott. And as we begin 2026, our mission isn't about predicting every twist. It's really about staying prepared through discipline, diversification, proper planning. So if you have questions about these themes, how they may apply to you or your portfolio, we're here. We're always happy to walk through it with you. And we certainly want you to reach out to your advisor and find an opportunity at the beginning of this new year just to sit down and begin to map out 2026 and see what's in store for you. So we hope you've enjoyed today's economic update. As you think about these themes, just look forward to the new year, and we hope to see you next month.